Alright, what's going on everybody? Anime Rainbow back with another episode. Today we'll be discussing Kaiju number 8 chapter 70. What is going on? Well, if you remember where we left off from the last chapter, well, it was actually on a cliffhanger, but we'll get in that a little bit later. This chapter kicks off with a wedding of all things, right? Actually, I will kind of jump back into a little bit of last chapter, right? Because at one point we saw Mina and Kafka talking about how it's days like these that they fought for. Days of just people playing in the park, being out, exercising, just enjoying the sunlight. It's a beautiful day in Japan, and the fear of kaijus attacking has settled down because it's been about, what, 3-4 months, I believe they said in the last chapter. So we pop up on the wedding of a previous character that we were introduced to by the name of Toku, a character that has been shown to have worked alongside Kafka at the Kaiju Corpse Disposal Cleaning Service. And Matsumoto's just been bringing back a lot of old characters, right? We saw the girl that Kafka had saved from chapter 2 in chapter 69, and it just helps to bring this series in a whole, makes it full circle. Doesn't seem like he just has to introduce a bunch of new characters. No, bring old characters back, give them a little bit more development, humanize your world a little bit more. It's a beautiful thing. So his daughter finally arrives because she's late, and they begin walking down the aisle. As they are walking down the aisle, you know, all eyes are on the bride, so only the daughter and Toku are able to see the massive kaiju that's behind them peeking through the window, and this is when all hell breaks loose. Alright, at this point I have to go back to the previous chapter, chapter 69. So the last page of chapter 69, we see the evil clone of Kikoru say that she's about to call her friends, right? During the wedding, the attack from the kaijus begins, and all over Japan, multiple kaiju attacks are happening. Alright, this is a similar situation of what happened when Kaiju number 9 popped up in Tokyo Bay. I believe it was Tokyo Bay, with all of those ant kaijus, right? Not really free thinking, higher level kaiju. Really, they're just fodder kaiju at the end of the day, but enough to cause enough damage to mobilize the entire defense force unit. So let's talk about the actual attack that happened. Okay, so I mentioned that the evil clone of Kikoru at the very end of chapter 69 mentioned that she was calling her friends, and in this chapter you have all of the kaijus that are spread out amongst Tokyo, specifically Tokyo and only Tokyo, that have commenced a simultaneous attack. Alright, so the very first attack, where most of the action was happening, happened at Sumida Ward. Okay, you have the kaiju that comes crashing through the church. Then we get the shot of the Sagaya Ward being attacked, and they're being hit by a bunch of what looks to be mole kaiju. We've seen mole kaiju before, but I find it interesting that the attack is happening in an area that takes down not only just the railroad tracks, but it also takes out power lines, which effectively is knocking out communication, at least to that area. Okay, as long as the defense force don't rely on those specific power lines to power their communications, they have some, you know, satellite dishes or some shit like that in space, they should be good, but effectively communication is knocked out there. Then you get to the Hokiji Ward, right? The mole kaiju there have popped up, and those were the same mole kaiju I think that Reno Iniharu had fought against when he was testing out the suit for Kaiju number 6, if I'm not mistaken. 2 of them popped up, and we already know how they get down, so they're going to need to be taken out effectively. And the very last one that we see is the Minami Ward attack that happened at a park with more locust kaiju, but they seem a little bit different than the other locust kaiju that we've seen. Honestly, when that happened, the call center's jaw just dropped. They're like, there's no possible way that we're going to be able to handle all of these situations that are happening at the same time. And I actually had mentioned that, I believe, in my previous video. I have a link for that in the description. They needed to have all of the suits already, well, ready to go. Okay, all of the numbered weapon suits with all of the compatible users that they think would be able to use them, they are need to be up and ready and running and ready for today. Okay, because this is really just a continuation of last chapter, if this is the doing of the evil twin of Kikoru. So now what you really have is the defense force is playing catch up, right? They're reacting to the situation, and you see the actual damage of what this is going to cause. Now everybody was living in this blissful, peaceful harmony these past 4 months because no kaiju attacks have happened. Now they're running for their life at a wedding. You got Toku, who we are already emotionally invested in, because like I said, Matsumoto is bringing back previous characters. He's trying to do everything possible to save his daughter and son-in-law right now. They're running to one of the bunkers that I had mentioned that they had set up. The same kaiju that came crashing through the front of the church has made its way to the basement of the church and is now about to eat Chaiko. So now you got Toku like crying. He is screaming, dog. Like, he is bawling his eyes out. He's bit himself, drawing blood, trying to draw this kaiju over to him, but there's really nothing you can do at that point, right? He's already caught her. crushed her legs, so I mean, I hope surgery can help her. If not, she might be in a wheelchair. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but given the circumstances, I wouldn't want to be crushed by a kaiju in that sense. And honestly, in the panel where the kaiju's picking her up with his teeth, I'm like, okay, she's been bitten in half. This is over. Wow, I didn't think Matsumoto was going to go that dark. But no, the kaiju delicately lifted up its food with its teeth to toss it in the air before having its meal spoiled by a radiant angel known as Narumi comes jumping in with the numbered weapon 1 suit. My first impressions of the suit, honestly, given what we've seen of the actual kaiju itself, I didn't think it was going to look like that. I mean, really, these suits are all just coming out to be suits of armor. At least, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's really no suit diversity. They're all coming out to be suits of armor. Given the circumstances, I understand completely. Narumi still looks like a badass in it. Alright, he still has the same weapon that he's always ran with. That was my next guess that I had and speculated on. Is he going to get a new weapon, right? But it seems like he's still going to run with the bayonet that he's always ran with. He has the eyes at his disposal. He has the physical suit itself. Does that come with new attacks? I don't know. But regardless of that, you have Narumi. He is in the Sumida ward. He is the one who is standing in front of Toku, protecting Chaiko and that whole entire unit. You have Mina, I'm presuming, is outside of the Sumida ward. I don't know. She could be at the Minami ward. She could be anywhere because all of Tokyo is being attacked right now. It really wouldn't benefit having multiple captains in the same area, given the fact that all of Tokyo is under attack. So she might be somewhere entirely different. And those are the only two that we've seen. We got the glimpses of all of the defense forces, though, just ready for war. Okay, they're ready for war. They want all the smoke. However, we don't see Kafka, right? I would have expected Kafka to be here, given that Toku, was his friend, right? He was the one who worked alongside of him in the disposal unit. He is the one who introduced Reno, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought he would have been there. If you see Mina, no matter where she is, Hoshina is with Mina. Kafka might be with Hoshina, considering that he was the one who was training Kafka over all this time. You might actually have Hikaru with Narumi because of their relationship and the fact that they were training alongside each other. Iharu and Reno, I don't know where their skills would be best. Their skills are probably best utilized in the Hokiji sector, right? Because like I said earlier, they took down these same mole kaijus 3-4 months ago when he was testing for the suit. So honestly, this might be a rematch. The first one was a 2-on-1. This is a 2v2. I am looking forward to that fight if that is what we get in Chapter 71. And of course, they would be alongside the 4th Division captain. So we might actually see him get the rumble as well. Considering the time jump that we have here, Iharu would have also improved drastically from having that one-on-one mentorship with the 4th Division captain. We will see in Chapter 71 because this is just Tokyo, right? I'm sure Kaiju number 9 is going to launch attacks all over Japan, not just in Tokyo. This is just where he wants to start. The defense force is going to have to keep their head on a swivel. They are going to have to respond to all of those rings out for crises. And the question is just going to remain, when is Kaiju number 9 going to pop up? Alright, so I think I've rambled on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you are new, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. Lets me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on, how you think all of this is going to transpire, where do you think the other members of the defense force are going to pop up, and your overall rating and thoughts of the chapter. I'll keep the content coming frequently, as infrequent as possible, and I'm out.